Right, welcome along. No mai, haere mai. We're going to start lying on our back today, please. Just for a few stretches down here to begin with. So knees up, feet down. Drop your arms either at your sides or bring them in close, whatever feels right for you today. Have a little wriggle around to get comfortable. Spread your toes so we're planting the feet. And make sure your head feels relaxed here. So we're relaxing the neck muscles. Beginning to pay attention to the breath. Get a sense of softening down as each breath releases from your body. Get that sense of feeling really heavy, fully resting into the floor. Feeling your full weight being supported by the ground beneath. And the heavier you start to feel, then you might notice your muscles relaxing a bit more. You might become more aware of what you're actually holding on to and where the tension is in your body. Just a couple more breaths here. And bringing your hands out to the sides, drop knees over to one side, keeping your feet touching the floor for now. And you may like to turn your head in the opposite direction to the knees. And then we'll come through center, drop your knees over to the other side and turn your head in the opposite direction. Come up through center and over to the first side again. And we'll just keep turning from one side to the other. It might feel best to breathe in as you come through center and to breathe out as the knees drop. So that way we're starting to synchronize with the breath. And then bring your knees up so your feet are floating off the ground, hands on top of your knees, and we'll just gently draw them in, then extend arms, so just rocking forward and back. And then pedal the legs, so bringing one in, extending the other away. You might start to get a bit of a side-to-side movement here. And then bringing your arms out wide, lower knees over to one side. You might look away, only if it feels good to you today. See how it feels. And then dragging up the top knee, come through center and drop knees over to the other side. Lifting the top knee first, floating across the back of the hips, and then over. We'll just keep moving from one side to the other. So again, it might feel best to breathe in through center and to breathe out each time we lower. And if you'd like to add on, as you bring the knees over, you could float one leg out long, so extending that top leg. You might want to slow down the movement or speed it up, depending on your mood today, depending on where your body is at, what you're feeling today. Keep thinking about synchronizing with your breath. So we're saying to find that flow of movement and breath, the synchronicity. We'll do one more on each side. Okay, and then coming back through center when you're done. And roll your knees all the way over to one side until you can rest here comfortably. So the arm that's behind you circles overhead, dragging your fingers along the ground, and all the way over until your hands come together. Now that top hand, bring it all the way over and open out wide. Circling over, hands together, and over. Coming forward again, and then this time we're going to make a circle all the way around. So the arm circles overhead, opens wide, comes down over the hip and back to where it started, circling over, wide, down towards the legs and to where it started. Let's do two more of these. So really extending the arm away from you, trying to get some mobility around the shoulder blade. Let it glide over the rib cage. Okay, and then bring the arm out wide, the knees come up through center, so just reposition your body and then drop the knees over to the other side. And the arm that's now behind you circles over to meet the other hand. So we'll just start with those half circles overhead, dragging over, fingertips grazing the carpet. Or whatever surface you're on. I'm on carpet. And the arm comes over. Maybe we can imagine we're on a nice sandy beach. Coming over. And then from where you started, from where your hands are together, let's do those circles all the way around. So we're coming over and wide, circling down over the hip and hands together. Big circle. Take it as slow as you like. And we'll do 2 more. Feeling that really good extension, the mobility of the shoulder blade gliding over ribs. And here's 1 more. Okay, now opening arms out wide and the knees come up. This time, stack your knees directly over your hips. So as soon as we do that, we create a little bit of tension in the abdominals to make sure that we're not letting the back lift too far away from the ground. So we just want to keep a nice neutral position in the torso. So just a little bit of, we're not crunching down hard, just enough tension to hold your position. And then the knees, since they're just over the hips now, we're just going to bring them halfway across and keep your shoulders grounded. Coming up through center and lower halfway over. So you'll feel where you can go, but still maintaining stability in the torso so that we're not collapsing the body over, which is usually about over to the diagonal, keeping the opposite shoulder grounded. If you want a bit of a challenge here, you could extend the top leg as we come across and then bend the knee as we come through center. So it might help to press down into the backs of your arms to really stabilize here. Breathing in through center and out as we lower. Let's just do 1 more of these. Okay, and then bring knees up, hands onto your knees, bit of movement here, any way that it feels good. And then however you choose, we're coming up and over onto hands and knees. So you might come straight up or use your hands to guide yourself over. Hands and knees, plant those hands with spread fingers, open fingers. Knees directly under hips. Make sure that we're not collapsing here, so we want to be pressing firmly into the hands, shoulder blades hugging into the back body. Check the alignment of your torso, so whether you naturally drop the belly, can we just create that little bit of tension in the abs without crunching in hard, just to maintain stability here. Let's go right arm and left leg and send them out long, so forward and back. Make sure that we're not dropping in the middle, so we're maintaining stability in the core section. So reaching out and then float open to the diagonal. Reaching forward and back and touch down. Other side, left arm, right leg. Reaching forward and back. Floating open. reaching forward and back, and touch down, landing really lightly. Switch again, reach and open, reach and down, switch, we'll do one more on each side. Okay, now bring your fingers of one hand back towards your thigh and press gently into the back of the hand. Doesn't have to be hard, you know, you can just take it to your own level until you're getting a nice stretch down the forearm, and then switch over. Okay, and then reset from hands and knees. This time we're going to tuck the toes under and float your knees off the ground, then lower them as close to the floor as you can get them. Keep the weight forward in the hands. Make sure that we're not dropping the belly, so we want that little lift, little activation of the abs. And also think about your head position. You might be looking back at your thighs. Instead, look straight down at the ground and lift the back of your head. So creating a nice long line through the spine. Hold and breathe. And then lower the knees, flatten your feet and rise on up. Let's gently circle the wrists, mobilize fingers, extend the arms in front of you and point your fingers down. Circle, release whatever you need. Plant your hands. Let's do it again. Tuck toes under, knees off, and hover them just off the ground. Make any other micro adjustments that you need. Press down into every fingertip. Shoulder blades hugging into the back body. Think about the position of your head. Lift the back of the head. Can we bring those knees closer to the floor? Hold for one more breath. Drop the knees down, flatten feet. Let's relieve the arms, the wrists. Even circling the thumbs, don't forget them. Extending in front of you, fingers point down. A little squeeze in the glutes, so we're getting a bit of work at the, bit of a stretch at the front of the hips too. Now take the fingers of one hand and gently press them back towards you or pull them back towards you. And then fingers point down and use the other hand just to bring those fingers a bit closer back. Other side. And fingers point down. Okay, plant your hands, right arm, left leg, extend out long, and this time we're curling under, knee towards elbow. Extend out long, open out to the diagonal, and then bend the knee up towards your tricep, and the elbow slides back. Extend forward and back and touch down. Other side, reach. Knee and elbow come under. Reach. Come out to the diagonal and bend the knee and elbow and draw them in, but try to keep them high. Reach forward and back and lower down. One more time on each side. So extend. Come under, extend, open out, bend and come around, forward and back and down. To the other side, reaching out, under, out, diagonal, knee comes around, extend and down. Come to the first side again, so it's the right arm, left leg. Extending, scooping under, extending and opening out. And this time as we bend knee and elbow, hold right here. Now plant your hand and step the left foot forward. So we're coming into a lunge. Bring it all the way forward so that we don't stop halfway. Just easing down here. You might be getting a good stretch at the front of the right hip. Explore this. Notice if you're feeling a bit tight there today. Try to keep the belly and chest long and lifted. Now shift your hips back into a hamstring stretch. If it's super tight, keep the knee bent as much as you need, but try to make sure that you're feeling it in the hamstring so we're not compensating in the lower back. Sending the tailbone back and lengthening your chest forward. Flatten the front foot, come into your lunge again. If you like, you could extend the top arm. So coming into a twist. And then slide back into your hamstring stretch. Here's another challenge if you want to add on, want more of a challenge today. See if you can try to lift your heel off the ground, or at the very least we want the sensation of lifting the foot off, even if it doesn't actually release from the ground. Hold for a breath. So don't worry if you haven't managed to clear the ground. And then flatten the foot again. Let's come into our twist. Okay, hand comes inside, place the knee back where it started, and we'll do the same on the other side. So it's going to be the left arm and the right leg. Extend out. Coming under. Extending out. Open, bend, come around. Then a big step forward into your lunge. Make sure that the legs are far enough apart so that you can sink the hips down. You can keep your hand on your thigh. Just explore the movement. Sorry, explore the pose, and that could be with a bit of movement if it feels good. And coming to our hamstring stretch, sliding back. So think about sending your tailbone back and lengthening your chest forward. So we're creating a lot of length through the upper body. Then flattening the foot again into your lunge. Add the arm. And lower down, slide your hips back. So we'll just create some tension in the pose here by creating the sensation of lifting the heel off the ground. If it doesn't make it off, honestly, don't worry about it. Just think about creating some tension within this stretch rather than a passive stretch. So hold for one more breath. And then flatten the foot. Hand comes inside and come onto your knees. And now lifting your hips above your knees. Think about sending the tailbone down and lifting the belly, lifting the chest. Hands come to your lower back, tuck in the elbows, and just gently push the hips forward. Your feet can be tucked under if it helps you to feel more stable here. I just prefer feet flat, but that's my choice. Lifting the chest, roll your shoulders back. big deep breaths here. Really spacious pose. Think more about the upward lift than arching back. So sending the heart space high. Okay, and then tilt the chin in. Slowly shift the hips back and stretch your arms forward. Let's come up again. Press the hips forward. Tuck in elbows. Lengthen the tailbone down. Lift the front line of the body. Okay, and then slowly send the hips back and stretch your arms forward. Breathe space into your back body. And we'll do it one more time. Pushing hips forward, shoulders back. Tip your head back as far as it feels good. If you want to take it further and reach down for your heels, feel free to go there. And then slowly coming out, hips back, arms outstretched. Now plant your hands, tuck your toes under, float your knees off the ground, hover them just for a couple of breaths here. And then step your feet under your hips in a forward fold. As much of a knee bend as you need. So you might start with a generous knee bend and then start to tip the hips up a bit higher. Relax the upper body down. Maybe hold on to elbows, or you might have fingers on the ground. Spread your toes, really plant your feet. All right, now bend your knees and sweep your arms up. Hold right here. And sink hips a little bit more. Then straighten all the way up. Eye gaze up. And bring your hands to your lower back. Tip the tailbone down, soften knees as much as you need to here, or you can keep them straight. Just kind of have a play with where you need to be. Lift the belly, tip the tailbone down, tuck in elbows. And then soften knees, tipping forward, release all the way down. Let your arms hang, fingers on the ground or hold elbows. Deep knee bend, arms come up. Straighten all the way up. Hands come to your lower back. So we're squeezing the glutes, but we're thinking more about sending the tailbone down and lifting the belly so that we're not putting all of the compression just into the lower back. It's more of a full body movement. Only go back as far as you feel stable. Stay for one more breath. And then slowly soften down. Let your arms hang. And we'll do this one more time. So deep knee bend, arms come up, hips sink even deeper, arms go higher. Then stretching up, and this time we're clasping hands behind our back, roll shoulders back and down, push your knuckles towards the ground, but lift your heart space. Make sure you can still breathe. And keep your hands clasped and slowly soften knees, tipping forward, and push your knuckles up to the ceiling. Keep broadening across your collarbones, so we're pulling the shoulders away from the ears, but make sure that the head is, the neck is relaxed. Spread your toes and keep tipping your tailbone high. You might be able to let the arms fall towards the back of your head. Big deep breaths. Try not to hold your breath. And then slowly release arms. Let them hang. And then lower down onto your knees. Sit hips back. Stretch arms out, rest your head to the ground. And then slide your arms behind you so they're down the sides of your body. Don't worry if your hips are super high here, it really doesn't matter. It's not about trying to make sure they touch the heels, we're just letting the whole body relax down, let your head rest to the floor, breathe space into your back body. And then come and turn over onto your back. Knees up, feet down. Just take a moment to reset. Now picking up behind the right thigh. Maybe you want to clasp your hands and just hug the thigh in close towards you. Then flex the foot and push your heel up towards the ceiling or the sky if you're on a nice sandy beach. So keep the back of your hips grounded and push your heel upwards. So the knee doesn't have to be completely straight depending on your range of movement in this pose. But we want to keep the pose quite active, so we're not just passively pulling the leg towards us, we're using our muscles. So push the heel up and then bend the knee, let the toes relax. Now pushing the heel up. Bend. And push the heel, extend as much as you can. Keep the shoulders relaxed back. Make sure you're relaxing your neck. And then bring the ankle across your other thigh and open the knee wide. You could stay right here, gently pressing the knee away from you, or you could reach behind the other thigh and gently pull it in. Now keep your legs as they are, just release the hands and then close your thighs together. So we have the right leg crossed over the top, arms open at your sides and drop knees over to the left side. So the right knee is over the top. If anything doesn't feel good here, any pain or real discomfort in your back or hips, or on your knees, then you can unhook that top knee and just rest them together. Eye gaze wherever the neck feels best, maybe looking away. Notice where you're tensing up in your body and can you relax. Just bring awareness into those tight spots. See how it would feel to relax that muscular tension. Keep your legs as they are, but extend the top leg out. You might be able to reach to your hand or reach hand to foot, or just a hand over the top or underneath. Okay, bend up the top leg, let's pass back through centre, right foot on the floor, holding the back of the left thigh, hugging it in close towards you, but make sure the hips stay on the floor. Then pushing the heel up, so the toes are pulling back towards you. Good, strong, active stretch. Make sure you're still breathing normally. And then bending the knee. Push the heel up. And bend. And again. Now ankle across thigh, pressing the other knee away from you. Or reaching through to grab hold of the other thigh. Releasing hands, closing thighs together. Drop them over to the right side. And let shoulders fall, maybe look away from knees. Do a quick check-in, make sure everything's feeling good here so you can enjoy the pose. Bring awareness to whatever you're gripping onto. See how it feels to relax. Deepening the pose. You may like to extend the top leg. Drop back again. And then come back to where we started with our knees bent up, feet on the ground, arms at your sides or coming in close. Just a little bit of time here to kind of reset. Let everything relax down with each out breath. Feeling heavier, more supported, more at ease. Let's just stay as we are for around 4 more breath cycles. Feel ready to move again. You can come straight up, or you could roll over to one side first to finish in a seated position. Finish together with one more breath. Circle arms wide and high. Touch and slide down your center to your heart space. Ngā mihi. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Hope you're feeling good now. Thank you. Ka kite.